Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I really want to go over some of my favorite authors, some of my favorite, maybe some of my favorite books by them, but honestly most of the books by these authors are like books they can not go wrong with. A lot of these individuals are new to me or I'm new to them, but these are authors whose books I frequently gravitate towards. So I'm probably gonna refer to my bookshelf and kind of look back. Again, I am big on the audiobooks, and then I do like to collect the paperback books so that I can do a little bit of immersive reading. But for the most part, my way of getting back into reading was through the app Libby, and then I use Audible, and I will also use Spotify to do a lot of my audiobook reading because I am always on the road. I do a lot of traveling for my job in the military, and this is my last year in, so I'm praying things go smoothly. But let's jump into it. So really quickly, one of my favorite authors, like the second author that I started reading when I got back into things, is going to be Christina Lauren. This happens to be my favorite book of the author duo that they've written so far, and I've read a good bit of their books, but this one is my favorite. This is probably the first book that made me cry. I've never had a book pull so much emotion out of me until I read this one, but this book definitely made me cry. It is a very heartbreaking story, and it is also a very good story. If you have not read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, if you haven't read any of their books, please jump on it. Another one of my favorites by them is The Unhoneymooners. This is probably their funniest book. So definitely get into it if you have not gotten into it. Another author who I recently discovered, I want to say last year, not 2024, 2023. In 2023, I discovered Taylor Jenkins Reid, and when I tell you Daisy Jones and the Six, Carrie Soto is back, and I even have, this book was so goddamn good, I even have the special edition version of it. Like, I don't, words cannot describe, one, how beautiful this hardback cover is. Like, this is just gorgeous, but this story is so, it is so gripping. Like, anytime I read one of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, I think it is based on like real life events and like real people, because this was definitely giving Marilyn Monroe vibes, okay? And the fact that I have it in the hardback and the paperback is crazy, because I really am a paperback girly, but it says a lot when I have the special edition hardback. But I've read several of her books. Also, if you're reading Carrie Soto is Back, Malibu Rising will make sense. Like, these books, they're interconnected standalones. They really go well together. I read Carrie Soto is Back, and then I read Malibu Rising. But if you read this one first and then this one, you should be fine. But Taylor Jenkins Reid, she is on top of it. Another favorite artist is going to be Tia Williams. I've only read one book so far. I have a second book on my to be read list by her. Where is it? Jesus Christ. A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. And I know she has some other books out, and I know one of them was made into like a Netflix series or a Hulu series, but she is also one of my favorite authors. Sweet Jesus. Another author is going to be Allie Hazelwood. Yeah, this book got discovered. This book got destroyed while I was traveling for my deployment, but this is the first paranormal romance that she's written, and it was really good. But besides this, usually a lot of her characters are going to be in STEM or science related fields. This is the first one where it was kind of like different, but also, I mean, the female main character is she's a coder, or she's like heavy into like cyber security or computers. So I mean, she's still stuck with the theme, but her books, and I really hope there's like a second part to this, because the way this ended, it left off on somewhat of a cliffhanger and makes it seem like there's going to be a second book. But Allie Hazelwood is great. Another author that I truly enjoy her books, Abby Jimenez. You can't go wrong with an Abby Jimenez book. I haven't run into one of her books that I have not liked, and they've all pulled some kind of strong emotion out of me. So if you're looking for an author to read and you've never heard of Abby Jimenez, first of all, are you living under a rock? And second of all, pick up one of her books immediately, ASAP. Okay. Another author that I have that has been surprising and that I like really, really, really so much is going to be Anna Huang. She does series really well, and I have the entire Twisted series, and then this year I would like to add the Kings of Sin series. I think that's what it's called. And then she has there's another series of hers. I'll put it on the screen over here so you guys can see it, but it really intrigued me when I was in Barnes and Noble. But this series right here, oh, it's called the If Love series, that book. So 2 of them are interconnected standalones, and then there's a duet. So I am interested in her material. This book was okay, but it was like as you progressed and kept going, the series just got better and better and better and better. So I do like Anna Huang. She is up there for me. Another person whose books have been surprisingly entertaining for me is going to be Lucy Score. This is my first book of hers, and then I read the Christmas Fix, and then I also have Things We Never Got Over on my TBR for this year. This book, ignore the title, funny, so funny. The banter was there. The only thing I did not like was the male main character. He ended up being like, his name is Nick, but Nick ended up being like the biggest asshole and like super controlling in some aspects, but the female main character in this book made this hilarious. So I am excited to delve back into this and like finish it up, because I do have the next book in the series, The Corpse in the Closet, and I am like ready to finish this. I really wish I would have grabbed the other one, because I may have to go back in and like get some glimpses of some chapters just to remember what it was that I read. I didn't forget too much of it, but it's really, really funny. So another person who I am trying to get into her book, so far so good. I've read one of her books, and it was the Cain's Brothers book. It was a Not So Me Cute, and I do have So Not Meant to Be and A Long Time Coming on the Kindle app. I just need to find time to read those. But Megan Quinn is, she's hilarious, and she puts so much thought and effort into her books. Like, her characters seem like real people that you want to meet in real life, no matter what scenario she's put them into. And I'm not gonna lie, Megan Quinn and Lucy Score, a lot of their writing for me is very similar, but also very different. You know if you read a Lucy Score book, and you know if you read a Megan Quinn book. But I am super excited to get into more of her books. I have the Bridesmaid for Hire, and then I think I'm gonna get Undercover Bridesmaid. I think that's what the other book is called. I think that, like, the duet. But yes, that's another author there. And then who else? I also have Hannah Nicole Meyer. I was very surprised at how much I like this book. I would say maybe be careful listening to the audiobook, because as I was reading along, I realized that the narrator was skipping over words or putting in words that weren't there. So that was the only reason why this wasn't a 4-star for me. But aside from the audiobook, this would be a 4-star read. There are a lot of magical, mystical beings in here who have names that I've never heard of and I would never be able to pronounce, which is why I usually tend to stick to the audiobook. But she's slowly getting up there. Like, I am counting down the days until the 3rd book in this series comes out. And then another author that I am pleasantly surprised by, because she's been like hit or miss, and the 3 books that I have by her, they're all hardcover, and I am not hardcover girly, but it's going to be Miss Emily Henry. I have Happy Place, which I think I gave this a 4-star. I think I gave Funny Story a 4-star, and then I want to say Beach Read, I either gave it a 3.5 or a 4-star. But first of all, this is the most beautiful, aside from The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, the most beautiful limited edition book that I own. I just want you guys to, like, first of all, look at this. This is stunning, and the sprayed edges go all the way around, and then it's got this beautiful sunset in here that looks like cotton candy. So yeah, Emily Henry's books are pretty good. I have read a few of her other books. I just don't have the physical copies of them, which I am going to rectify that wrong. And I'm glad I waited for this edition of Beach Read to come out, because I was just going to get the paperback version, and this one is so I like this one so much better. I did enjoy Funny Story. I hated what the female main character went through, to finally get her happily ever after. But this was a pretty good read. I know this is super popular on people's like top 10 or top 24 of the year. But yeah, and then Happy Place was just okay, but I already had, you know, this, they only had it as a hardcover when I went into the store, so I just relented and got it. I forget. So I read this book. I started this book on the 1st of January. I finished it on the 3rd or the 2nd. But this book is 88 chapters and it is 524 pages or so, and I finished it in 2 days. It had me wrapped to the point where halfway through this series I ordered the 2nd book, and I might get the 3rd book as is, because right now it's only available as a hardcover and I really want to keep them all as paperbacks. But I have the 2nd book in this series and I cannot wait to start this. And I love the sprayed edges, how they look like dashikis or kente cloth or whatever you want to call it. This is, first of all, I'm not big on YA because I really want to read books with like characters closer to my age, but this wasn't written childishly. Like, these young characters are really going through some real life things. So this had me absolutely hooked. So, and I don't want to butcher her name. I've listened to it pronounced and I'm not going to do it. I know her first name is Tomi or Tommy, I think, but she writes beautifully, and all the blurbs in here and the praise for her book is well deserved, because I wasn't expecting much when I went into this. I was just enraptured by the white hair, the dark skin, the gray eyes on the character, and the first character in the book. And then there's a map of all the places that they go to in the book. I'm here. They give you like the Magi clans. Like, you get to figure out what the Magi clans are. The dedication is beautiful. The story is gripping. And like I said, it's taken everything in me to not start this, because I know I'm not going to have the 3rd book just yet. And this one's much shorter than the 1st book, so I know I could probably finish this in a day. But this cover is stunning as well, and she is definitely jumped up to like #1 on my list. But those are some of my favorite like book authors whose books I will buy and wait for the audiobook to come out for. They're like up there on the list of authors I love to read, and I love that they have so many different books coming out. But yeah, that's it for this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.